Namaste. Morning. Sorry, I'm always distracted. That cat wants to come in when he's trying to tear down things from my wall, and he's really crazy. Okay, so this morning, welcome. I feel the fatigue. I feel a little bit tired. I think everybody's a little frazzled from this last week. Energetically, pretty intense, and what's going on in the world, pretty intense. So I thought we would cruise a little bit more this class. I hope that's how you think it is. That's how I'm seeing it. So let's start lying down with our feet on the floor. Taking a moment to get yourself comfortable. You can place the arms down on the floor with the palms facing up, or you could have the hands lightly touching the body. So however you feel, back of the neck long, feet are just at the right distance, so there's no contraction in the thighs or overlifting in the lower back. And just begin by allowing yourself to drop into the earth. First thing in the morning, perhaps you've just rolled out of bed. I know someone has. And maybe you're watching this tomorrow morning. So just allow yourself still to rest in the peaceful sleepiness of the morning. And begin to find the rhythm of your breath. Just to tune in with that natural, organic ebb and flow. Letting the features of your face completely relax. Letting any gripping around the bone completely release. And just allow your awareness to really begin to awaken inwardly. We're going to do Viloma breath this morning. This is the stepping up or stepping down of the breath. We're going to step the breath up on the inhale. That is taking an inhale and pause. Inhale, pause. Inhale, pause. And then one long, smooth exhalation, perhaps through the mouth for a few rounds. So just sink into it whenever you're ready. And begin. Inhale, pause. Inhale, pause. Inhale, pause. One long, smooth exhalation through the mouth. And repeating it again. You might like to do about 3 rounds exhaling through the mouth. And as you work through this breath, please just really feel into the body, features of the face, the amount of effort that is required for the practice. And really make it as relaxing and doable as possible. Try and keep all those muscles releasing. The softness in the belly, the face, the arms. Let the exhalations, perhaps with the sealed mouth now, really allow the body to rest, to take the support of the earth, to ground down. So when there's lots of anxiety producing events happening around the world, this coming back to earth, this grounding down is so essential for our immune system, our mental, emotional, and physical health. It's a simple practice, but it does sometimes take time. So just a few more rounds of breath to really sink into that rhythm, to really give the body and the pranic body time to reset, to realign. Reset and realign to peace, to calm, to balance. And so completing your last round, wherever you're at, just starting, just finishing, just let it be. Just notice how you're feeling. It's a moment of stillness and observation. And then you might like to just simply allow the head to drop down to a side. And just slowly begin to tip it all the way towards the earth, and then allow it to gently spring back to the center, and the exhalation as you take it to the other side. And then coming back to the center. It's a little rotation through your wrists, and you might like to just lift the balls of the feet off and have a little play through the feet. Both directions with the wrists. And then hug your knees in, perhaps one knee at a time, and then drawing them into the torso. Little squeeze to release any tension in the lower back. Maybe a little rocking from side to side. Perhaps you might like to make some little circles with the knees, massaging through the sacrum and lower back. And after, say, 3 or 4 rounds, changing the direction. And then while the feet are up off the floor, widen the knees so you can really rotate out through the ankles now. In both directions. And then, oh, I have 2 people waiting. I was just so in my own zone. So just having little places.
Hi, Lucilla. I'm sorry, I had internet trouble.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, because I was in my zone and I didn't see people were waiting.
All right, okay.
Okay, so we're lying on the ground. Hi, Robin. Sorry, I wasn't already in, so I was like, you know, we've done our breathing and we've done the beginning of the class, but we're just waking up slowly this morning, so you can join us here. Lying on your back, and we're actually just rotating through the ankles. We're squeezing our, thighs, knees in, and releasing the lower back, rotating out through the ankles. And as you've just joined, some of you might like to rotate through the ankle, wrists as well, and maybe roll the head from side to side a couple of times. So even a little waking up of the spine by taking feet and knees in opposite directions. I call this like swiveling on this on the sacrum. Just swinging feet and knees in opposite directions to really warm up and release through that lower aspect of the back. And if you've just joined and you need a little bit longer to do your own thing, just join us when you're ready and what we're coming into. So we're going to place our hands in under our knees. And we're going to just have a gentle roll back and forth, just to gently wake up the spine. And you can allow that movement to sort of deepen and deepen as you feel the back begin to warm up and awaken. And then we just roll all the way up into a cross-leg position. Making yourself comfortable. If you need to sit on something, you're also welcome to do that. Have the hands out, just reaching out on either side. Lengthen up through the spine as you feel your sit bones connecting to the earth. Have the inhalation right up the spine into the crown and use an exhale just to drop the left ear to the shoulder. Take a breath there as you breathe into the neck and really reach into the right hand, into the opposite hand. And then inhale back to the center. And as we exhale, we're dropping the right ear to the shoulder and reaching out into the left arm, the left shoulder. Keep nice and long through the spine, nice and grounded through the hips, nice and natural through the breath. Take one more breath there and can use an exhalation to come back to the center. And then finding that groundedness through the buttocks, that slight drawing in through the lower abdomen. Turn the palms out, use the inhalation to rise out and up. Hands meet overhead, and as we exhale, we begin to draw them through the center, peeling the palms away from each other and creating this nice V shape with the hands as we push that symbol down into the earth and out in front of us. And then back of the fingers come together as we inhale and ride back up the center, spiraling the hands to the palms, and then back to the back of the hands as we reach up. And exhale like you're swimming in the water, pushing the water out of your way to access. And then hands just gently touch your pussycat or the ground. Inhale, coming out and up. Grounding down at the same time. Hands meet. And as we exhale through the center, allow the palms to peel off and our little feminine symbol, it's a triangle that we make with the hands, pressing it down into the earth, stabilizing us and just pushing out a little bit. And then back of fingers come together, we ride up the center, spiral the hands, palms, and then back of hands, back together as we reach the peak, and exhale, back out and down. And we turn around again, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, coming down through the center. Making our little symbol, pressing it into the earth and in front of us. And then back of hands, rise back up, spiraling the hands. And exhale all the way down. Just take a moment there. Have a little wriggle from side to side, releasing through the thoracic. So we really feel like the ribs are doing a little Egyptian movement. And then we're going to take our hands behind us. You can be on your fingertips or you can be on the palms of the hands. Draw the lower navel in and really lift the chest. Get that updraft from the lower belly into the heart as perhaps we look up towards the ceiling. Take a nice full deep breath or two into the chest and into the ribs. This is waking up, enlivening. And then slowly release out of there. Change the cross of the legs. And inhale, rise the arms out and up. As we exhale, left hand to the floor as we dip over to the left hand side. And really begin to dip down and then pulse back out of there. Inhale like a half lift and then exhale, dipping in and then inhale like a half lift and then exhale, dip in again. And then just pin your right sit bone into the ground as you allow your whole right waist and arm to flow out of that stability. A little rotation through the wrist can be nice. And then use an inhale as you're ready to come up to the center. The exhale as we drop that right arm down and the left arm lifting, bringing us over to the right hand side. And then this little pulsation as we inhale and half lift and exhale and dip back in. Inhale and half lift. And exhale to dip back in. And last one, inhale. A little lift out of there and exhale. Commit to the opening. Pin that left sit bone, hip down. And allow this sense of flowing out like a fountain that's flowing out in one direction. Breathe into your ribs and perhaps release through the wrists. And then we take that inhale to lift us out of there. And exhale as we simply release the hand down. You might like to drop the chin in towards the chest and just allow those shoulders to drop down to the earth. Almost this feeling that they roll back and down a little bit as we just begin to release a little through the neck. And you can then just allow this little swinging of the chin from side to side. And any other little movements that feel right for you there to release in through the neck. And then we'll come as you're ready. You can release that. You could even just take a breath and notice how you're feeling, particularly if you've rushed here and didn't get that necessarily that grounding aspect that we had at the beginning of the class. And then we come on to our hands and knees. Knees are under the hips, hands or wrists are under the shoulders. Just lift the feet off the floor to start with, give the ankles a little bit of a turn. And you can swing them a little from side to side. Coming back to the center, big toes together, knees apart, drop the buttocks down slowly towards the heels as you stretch the arms out in front of you, having a little wriggle, a little play as you go. And just allowing the body to begin to be released down, and perhaps the forehead comes to the earth. Keeping the arms active if you can for now, with the hands pressing into the floor, feeling all four corners attached and the fingers spreading. A little rock into the right shoulder, dropping it in towards the earth, and then over to the left shoulder, dropping in towards the earth. So you rock back and forth. Doesn't matter what speed you do, could be La Cucaracha style, could be slow motion style, or something in between. And then walk your hands together into prayer, dropping the elbows to the floor and inhaling the arms over your head so the thumbs touch the back of your neck, and you scoot those elbows a little closer towards the top of the mat. And then dropping the hands back down to the floor, and then inhale them back up. And exhaling them back down. So just repeating it a few more times. Breathing in. Making the movements your very own. Really adjusting, playing, modifying, tweaking. So it feels really nourishing for you. Hands come back down to the floor, keeping the palms together. We're going to inhale up onto our, lifting the hips up and coming up over the elbows. Tucking those toes back and bringing everything in line with the hips. We pull back. And then we inhale and come forward, taking the chin over towards the fingers. And pull back, buttocks to heels. We can inhale, chin over the fingers, and exhale, pull back. And just repeating this a few times, warming up the shoulders. Back and forth at your own pace with your own breath. And then pulling back, coming up onto the hands, into cat pose. So really rounding through the spine as you push up, press the hands into the floor. And then when you're ready, you take the inhalation to do the opposites, to come into down cat, or up cat, sorry. And roll the sit bones high. Press those hands into the floor. That's just doing it super slow. So maybe even just holding here and having a little tiny wag of the tail. It's interesting to wag the tail in the back bend. And then coiling in again, tucking that tail under, dropping the head down, rounding through the spine, pressing forward now. So you really feel the openness through the top of the back. And then inhale back to neutral. Reaching that right leg out and up. So stretching it up behind you, lifting it out. And then we can exhale and draw the nose in towards the knee. Or the knee in towards the nose. Both. Inhale, extend that right leg out and up. And exhale, knee to nose. Press the floor away from you. Inhale, extend the leg out. Let's hold here. Rotate that ankle 3 times in each direction. And then we're going to drop that foot to the floor, drop onto our heel and swing that left foot out behind us. And then from here, we can just simply inhale and reach the arm over our head in line with the ear or directly up towards the sky. Whichever works for you. I should have done the other side first so you can see me a little more clearly, but that's okay. Rotate your wrist a couple of times here, that right wrist, so you can release there. Just 2 or 3 times in each direction. And then see if you can lift that right leg off the floor. Very nice. And then we take an inhale, reach from finger to toes. And as you exhale, elbow and knee come together in the center. And then exhale, straighten out. I'll show you. Elbow, knee, exhale, straighten. Elbow, knee, exhale, straighten. Elbow, knee, exhale, straighten. Beautiful. And then from there, you can just place the leg down, the foot down, and then the right hand comes down. We turn all the way back. Let's drop all the way down, buttocks to heels. Resting completely, rocking the hips from side to side. Maybe rocking your forehead from side to side. So just doing any little adjustments that feel nice to you. Perhaps the wrists need a release as well. A nice exhale, nice deep round of breath. And then inhaling back up onto your hands and knees. And we come to the other side. Inhaling, lifting the left leg. And exhale, coiling in knee to nose. Inhale, lift and extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift and extend, and we hold there. Press the hands into the floor. Try and scoop your belly up into the body. Rotate your ankle 3 times in each direction. And then we're going to drop that foot and then drop the heel down to the floor at the same time. Take that right foot behind you. You might need a little readjustment with that hand. And then inhale, just allow that left arm to rise in line with the ear or in direct line to the sky. And just take a breath here. You might like to rotate through that wrist a couple of times just to release. That's nice in the stretch. And then lift the left leg. And then take an inhale from foot to finger and exhale, elbow to knee. And inhale, extend back out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend back out. Elbow to knee. And inhale, extend back out. Releasing the foot to the earth. Just enjoy that last stretch again. And then that left hand begins to join back to the ground. Getting yourself comfortable, bringing big toes together, knees a little wider, drop back down. And take a little moment just to rock out, breathe out, rest out any discomfort anywhere in the body. Wrists, back, shoulders, hips. Take a deep breath in and out. Perhaps exhaling through the mouth. And then slowly you're going to come up on to sit on your hooves. And just sitting here, finding your danda, your midline through the spine. Letting those hands turn out once again as we come into our affirmation. I reach with trust. I go forward with enthusiasm. I open myself to possibility. Your back bend, be careful. I bow to wisdom. Pulling back. I breathe in energy back into cats. I release my fear to down cat. I welcome change back into up cat. And I surrender to peace. Hands alongside the legs. I feel joy and inspiration reaching up and overhead and long, and exhaling. I surrender to peace. Oh no, I honor life, sorry. Coming back into prayer. Let's take a moment to allow the intentions of the affirmations, like little seedlings planted in our spring soil. And then inhaling out and up with the arms coming off the heels. And as you exhale, take that right leg with you to the lunge, bringing that right hand onto the knee and letting the left hand then swoop back up as you gently pull back and lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, drop the arm down and bring the hips forward again. And then inhale, rising up, forward and up with the arm as you pull back a little bit. And then exhale, dive back into the lunge as the hand comes down. Inhale, forward and up as you come out of the lunge a little. And exhale, back and down with the arms as you come into the lunge. Keep the lunge there. Inhale, just the arm. And if you like, you can stay there or take the second arm with you and reach up here. Breathing here. Keeping as spacious in the lower back as possible. Take one more breath there. And as you exhale, arms can come out and down, hands on either side. And we're just going to allow that left hand to come out a little bit, lean into it, and allow the right knee to come out a little bit. So we're opening up this whole area here. Leaning into your arm is a little bit out of alignment, and then we just turn to look to the right or over that right elbow, just allowing everything to open a little bit here. And then carefully half come out of there. We're going to bring that left foot in just a little bit, lift off the knee and then drop to the razor edge of that foot. So tuck the toe, bring it into the middle line a little bit and then drop out to the outer edge of your foot. And then here you are once again now in a slightly stronger position of it. The hand can be on the knee. You're beginning to align that shoulder over the wrist. And if you like, if you feel good and strong, you can lift that right arm up into the air. From here, should have mentioned, you could have a block and place your hand then on that right hand onto the block. Lift your hips away from the floor and then lift the foot off the floor and bring it to sit beside the other. I've gone onto a different angle. Maybe it's not so helpful, but we come from here to lift and drop the foot on top, or if you don't feel comfortable with that, just behind the foot, and then see if you can inhale and lift your elbow. Take one more breath there, and then we come down. Turning back here into plank. Knees to the floor, pull back, buttocks to heels. Just completely rest there for a moment. You might like to rock slowly from side to side. Maybe you want to rock quickly, I don't mind. And also you might like a moment where we just release those wrists again. Just a few rounds in either direction. I mean in both, you know. And then hands come back, stretching out in front of us at the distance of our shoulders. We're going to inhale and roll up into our sort of cat. And then we're going to do a funny 8-point turn. So just make sure your wrists are directly under your shoulders. And you might like to just watch if you think, what on earth are we doing now? So the 8 point is where we dip down like this, but we're going to just bring our feet with us. For some reason, I'm finding this super easy on my back and injured shoulders and things. So I'm going to lift my feet. I'm going to suck my lower belly in, even though I'm beginning to drop my chest down. So that lower part of the lower belly really, the lower part of the lower belly, really bring it in. And then we begin to dip our chest, draw the shoulders back and down, tuck the elbows in, and dip forward and down with the chest and chin, feet high in the air. You can really begin to suck that lower belly in, and it's like a bunda being lifted up into the ribs, and then you simply lay the body down. Did that work? See, it did for you, Suze. Couldn't quite see for the rest of you. That's okay, we're here now. And we're simply going to inhale and lift into Shalabhasana. You can leave your hands under your shoulders or reach them back behind you with the palms facing up as we lift both legs and lengthen from tail to crown. Take another breath here. And then simply release the arms out in front of you and release the feet and head down. Take a nice breath there, or a few, 2 or 3. The exhaling through the mouth is really helpful, particularly as we begin to warm up or challenge the body. Rock your head. No, rock your hips, rock your hips. And then as you're ready, we bring the hands in under the shoulders. We simply push up into like a half plank, and we can push back. Let's keep it low to the ground. Push back into puppy. Tuck the toes under, buttocks back down to the heels. And then untuck your toes, sit back down on the heels as the hands come. And we come into our affirmation series once again. So turn the palms out. I reach with trust. I go forward with enthusiasm as the hands come out in front of me. I open myself to possibilities rolling into a back bend of your choice, your comfort. I bow to wisdom back into wisdom pose or extended child pose. I breathe in energy into upcat. I release my fears with Siddhasana, lion's breath. I welcome change as we come back into upcat. And I surrender to peace, hands alongside the body. I feel joy and inspiration as we reach out and up. And I honor life as the hands come back into prayer, bowing the head gently to the heart, letting the affirmation, the little seeds that are being planted, be truly watered by your awareness. And then we inhale, taking the arms out and up as you reach up at the hips as well. And now this time it's the left leg that comes forward, bringing the left hand onto the knee as we swoop that right arm out, forward and up, and just pull back a little bit as it reaches the peak, and taking it back behind you, exhale, down, come a little forward with the hips. Inhale, reach the arm out and up as you begin to pull back a little, like with a pulsation. Back and down as we exhale and rock forward with the hips. Inhale. And exhale. So leave the hips where they are. Inhale the arm on you. That left hand can stay where is, or it can lift up and join the right if it feels good for you. Press both feet into the floor, begin to squeeze your hips together and lift from your perineum and pelvic floor muscles up into the belly. Inhale here, maybe lifting the heart and the gaze skyward. Press both feet into the floor. And then exhale, arms wide and coming down slowly to the floor with the hips in hand, so the hips deepen a little. And then we take that right hand out a little bit. We open up the stance of that left leg a little bit, and we place the left hand back onto the knee as we open the heart and dip the hips. Here we can just be looking over that left elbow or up and beyond the left shoulder. So just seeing where your gaze comfortably resides. Breathe a couple of deep breaths into the body to question what's going on. Try not to over lean into that right arm, a little bend or micro bend in the elbow, particularly if you're hyper flexible there. And then you can slowly sort of half lift out of there. So slightly pull the hips up. We're going to tuck the back toes and then step the foot in a little bit to the center line. Drop the foot to the outer edge and just make a little adjustment perhaps with this left foot. It might need to step out a little bit more. And again, you can have the hand simply on the knee, or you can then now extend it up in line with the other. So at the moment, I've got my knee still bent and it's still the foot is in front of me. But if you've gone directly into the full pose, that's okay. It just means you'll be there longer. So then we take that block, if you like, press into the block. It's going to be on its highest height, and lift the hips, lift through the belly, step the foot onto the other foot, and then keep lifting the hips away from the floor and see if you can lift your elbow up. Hand can just be at the chest. Breathing, are you breathing? And then slowly we bring that left hand back down, come into plank, adjust, and then dropping the knees to the floor. You might want to step your hands in just a little bit for our 8-point. Lift the feet off the floor, begin to suck that lower part of the belly in quite firmly as you sort of release the ribs and heart to the earth, and then dip down and forward. Chest and chin come, roll the sit bones up, and then just slowly release the legs and let the whole of your body rest on the earth. Little adjustments are required here so the flesh of the body can really feel flat on the earth, like ironing out the creases of a tablecloth that's just been placed on the table. And then we come into our variation of Shalavasana that you like. You can keep the hands under the shoulders if you like, or inhale, reaching them back with the palms facing up, lifting feet, chin, the works. Breathing here. One more breath and see if we can just lift and stretch a little bit more. And then as you exhale, hands come out in front of you, and then just rest on the floor over your head. Feet come down, heels fall out to either side. And we take a couple of nourishing breaths here. Maybe you like to exhale through the mouth. Let the whole body completely rest. And then hands come in under the shoulders again. We push up into like a half plank, and then simply push back into a wisdom pose. Take a nice nourishing breath in. Feed the back body. Maybe your exhalations can be released out of the mouth and really allow the body to rest back towards the earth. And then rolling back up. The last affirmation sequence. I reach with trust, arms overhead. I go forward with enthusiasm, hands to the earth in front of me. I open myself to possibilities, opening into a backbone that suits you. I bow to wisdom, pulling back into wisdom pose. I breathe in energy into up cat. I release my fears with the tongue coming out towards the chin. I welcome change back into up cat. And I surrender to peace. Hands come alongside the feet. I feel joy and inspiration as we reach all the way up. Hands meet overhead, exhale. I honor life. Hands coming into prayer at the heart center. As we take a moment, once again, absorbing or watering our seed intentions. And then hands come out in front of us, as if we're going to do cat, that's a little shorter than cat, a little tighter than cat. And then we push up a little bit, just pushing back as if we're doing a funny little tight dog. You can have a little wriggle through the hips. And then just begin to walk your feet in closer to your hands, lining your feet in line with the wrist at about 1.5 foot distance, or maybe a foot distance. You're going to have to work that one out for yourself. The heels are going to be lifted and high. We're drawing into the lower navel. We're going to bend the elbows and see this rounding of the back, if we can connect the knees and underarms together, and then come up onto the tippy toes of our feet and see if we can really begin to lift the hips and transfer that weight from the feet to the hands. And it doesn't mean we have to take lift off here. We've not really done a lot, but it's just this idea, preparing the body psychologically, as much as anything, to feel that transfer of weight and press into the floor, opening up that upper back. And then you can just come out of there. We don't need to commit. Straighten the legs. You can have a go if you wanted to, if you know what you're doing. I like this tease, we don't have to actually do the pose. We can just imagine, we can just tease it out. Walk the hands a little bit more the feet a little bit more into the hands as we come to the top of the mat. And then let's just place our hands under our feet. We've been doing this. So the palms and the soles of the feet are touching. See if you can place the hand all the way under the feet, so the toes are touching the crease of the corner of the wrist. And you press the feet into the floor. Maybe take some of that weight a little more forward. Doesn't matter if your knees are quite bent to get here. And almost like we want to do a half lift. And as we try and lift our body up, we press our feet into our hands and release the wrist that way. And then you can bend the elbows, soften the knees, and just allow the head to completely release over. Not great to do this when you've got a bunch of rings on or anything, as I'm discovering. And then take the hands out of the feet, little half lift, and then as you're ready, you can roll up like a rag doll into standing. Just get my camera right. Okay. Feet are at hip distance. Hands just resting alongside the body. Take a washing breath into the body, so that's breathing as if you can breathe all the way down to your feet on the inhalation. Release the breath out through the mouth as if collecting all the debris and just breathing it out. Take the arms out and up, and as you do, bend your knees, coming into a light variation of chair pose. And as we exhale, let's just lift those heels and begin to slowly widen the arms and descend downward with the heels lifted. And then at some point, we're just going to fold, release the heels back to the earth and hands back down to the ground. We do this half lift with the hands flat on the floor if possible. And lift those heels once again and knees in under the arm as we place some of that weight again into the hands. And then simply come out of it. Again, it's just a teaser. Half lift and take the left leg with you. And as you exhale, bend that right knee and allow that to bring really softly that left foot down to the earth. Reach back into that foot as you press the right foot in and take the arms out and up. And exhale, just drop into your high lunge, or if you need that back foot placed down on the ground, warrior pose is nice, but you might just need to make a little bit more space, a little bit more width between the 2 feet. And then if you like that stability, then drop that back heel, lift in the arch. And just breathing here in some stability. Take one more breath there and just interlace the hands and drop down towards that right side. Hang on. Left side, no, right side. Don't know why I got confused there. Drop the right elbow down to the right side. Lean a little into the right side. And then once again, we inhale the arms back up, body into the center. And as you exhale, take the right hand to your hip and the left hand into arrow, reaching forward. Just for a moment, split the mat with your feet. Take one more inhale there and take that left hand to the floor, opposite that right foot. Lift that right foot off the left heel off the floor. Step it into the midline so it's more in the middle, and then we're going to drop down to the razor edge once again. You can do any of the variations we've already done, but if you feel warm enough and strong enough, we're going to try it. So lift that right foot as you bring that right arm up, maybe a moment where you just let it hover and then drop it, stacking the foot one on top of the other. Take one breath, press that left hand into the floor, reach up into the right with the hips lifting, and then exhale, bring the right hand to the floor and into our plank. Drop the knees to the floor, lift in that lower belly, and begin to lift the feet as you drop the heart and chin, rolling the sit bones up. And exhale, hallelujah, let's just rest all the way down to the earth with the cheek to the floor. Let the heels fall out, and this just is like a moment of prayer, a moment of quietude, of surrender. Let the breath normalize. Let the energy settle. Let the tension release. And then we bring our hands in under the shoulders, placing the forehead back to the earth and aligning your heels with your toes. They're all in line with the hips. Taking a back bend of your choice this time, so whether that's just a low cobra or any other variation, please take it. Inhale, your back bend. And exhale, pushing all the way back, this time into downward facing dog. Oh my God, it's 1 hour into class and this is our first downward facing dog. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. So just enjoy that little moment where you first come into this delicious posture and begin to play a little, explore a little, feeling into any restrictions through the buttocks, the hips, the spine, back of the legs, the arms, shoulders. And then after this little moment of exploration, if you need to, you can keep the heels high and the knees bent and really press those hands away from you to keep long through the spine. Or you can draw those heels down towards the earth and find the nice clean lines from hands to hips, from sit bones to heels, from tail to crown, and just be in the posture. And then slowly lift those heels and begin to meander your way to the top of your mat and to your hands. And as you arrive, just placing the feet behind the hands once again and plugging down your hands and feet as if you're in cat pose, but now you're in this standing thing. Lift the heels high off the ground. Begin to bend the knees and the elbows and let the knees and the shoulders marry. And then slowly begin to round deeply through the upper back and begin to press some of the weight into the upper arms and hands as you lift the heels a little higher. Feel the weight now in the hands. And then just release out of it. No pressure. Release the arms, the head, completely relax. Maybe swing the chin from side to side a couple of times. And then bend the knees deeply and roll up like a ragdoll, keeping the knees bent as you bring the arms out and over the head. And as you exhale, drawing the hands to the heart, straightening the legs. And releasing the arms alongside the body. And just taking a moment to really feel into the afterglow of movement. Noticing the difference between the left and right sides. Noticing the difference between your inner and outer body. And notice your breath and the activity of your mind. And then we inhale and reach the arms up and over our head as we begin to bend the knees down. And as we exhale, we're going to lift those heels off the floor, widen the arms and slide ourselves a little further down as the hands begin to come down to the floor. And then just simply lift the buttocks, drop the heels, straighten the legs and release the head. Half lift on the inhalation, and we're going to lift that left foot off the floor. Is that correct? Is it the left foot opposite? I'm going to take that as a yes. Is it the other foot? It's the right foot. Okay. Okay, let's lift the right foot off the floor. And then we're going to slowly bend that left knee and allow that left knee to take that right foot really quietly and kindly to the earth. Reach into that back forward and slowly lift out and up. And here you're going to make the adjustments with the feet as we arrive at the top. You might like to widen that left foot out a little so you can drop that right heel down and we come into actually Virabhadrasana 1 rather than the high lunge. I'm sort of working with that a little bit, even though I find it difficult because of this fear factor and this grounding element that brings, plus it's the warrior pose. So just take a moment in stillness in the posture, really trying to even the effort and weight through the feet. Lengthen from the crown to the tail, relax the shoulders away from the ears, lower navel drawing in and supports. Take one more inhale and opposite interlace your hands if you can find that, and drop the left elbow to, down, and just lean a little into the left side so you're really opening and stretching the right side of the body. Taking a couple of deep breaths there, really breathe into that side of the body. And then as you take another inhale, release the grip, left hand to left hip, right hand above, and then exhale, arrow. So reaching forward in line with that back leg, and just take a moment where we just imprint this arrow shape in the body. And then continue the journey on another exhalation with that right hand coming all the way down to the floor, slightly out of alignment. And then we jump that right foot into the center line and drop the back heel to, the outer edge to the floor. You can take any of these variations, as I said, but if you feel strong, you're going to lift that left leg and left arm up into the sky for a moment, letting that left leg hover, and then place that left leg on top of the right. And arms are stacking one on top of the other. Woo-hoo! Well done. One more inhale. And as you exhale, that arm comes over and back into plank. You bend the knees, drop the knees to the earth, begin to suck into that lower belly, lift the feet off, bend the elbows, pout your chest, and drop forward and down, chin and chest to the earth, and then flatten yourself out. Hallelujah. We have arrived. Hands can just rest over the top of the head. And you might make a little smooch, rolling the shoulders out as if you're, it's not quite swimming here, it's more like a figure of 8 experience from left to right shoulder, rotating forward and back. Make sure the flesh of your body can comfortably flatten out on the earth. And as you begin to place yourself comfortably, you might like to rock the hips from side to side as if you're on a moving train. It's a little rocky line. So when you're finished there, just letting stillness come back. Let's turn that right arm out to the side, so running it along the floor at the height of your shoulder. And just lifting that left foot, that left hand coming onto the ground so we can push ourselves over to the right, taking the left foot to just perhaps touch the ground over on the right side, stretching out through that shoulder and releasing through the back. Breathing a couple of conscious deep breaths. Take a deep inhale and let that exhalation slowly bring you back front body to the earth. And then that left hand comes and lands on the floor at the height of your shoulder. That right hand comes in under the shoulder. Lifting that right leg and taking it over to the left, making any adjustments you need to be comfortable to roll over onto that left side. Perhaps the right foot can find the floor somewhere. You might like to try lifting that right knee a little bit. See how it goes. Breathe a couple of deep breaths. And then just slowly rolling back. And an exhalation to the belly. Making any small adjustments once again. Deep breath in. Full breath out. We're going to bend the knees, bringing the feet over, hovering over the knees, and see if we can grab one hand, that foot with the hand, and then the other. Take a moment just to push the feet into the hands and then release, and push the feet into the hands and then release, and push the feet into the hands and then release without going anywhere. And then just reapply your grip. Get comfortable through the belly, hips, and heart. Take a deep inhale and begin to really press the feet into the hands so you can lift the heels off the buttocks and the heart off the earth. Thighs are lifted if they can, doesn't matter if they can't. One more breath there. And then exhale to slowly release back down to the earth. Hands come back over the head and feet back to the earth with the heels falling out to either side. Take a nice deep breath into your back. Let go any tension through the back and through the shoulders. And repeat that. And then as you're ready, we're just going to roll over onto our back. Hugging the knees in. And once again, just taking a couple of circles, one hand on each knee, and making little circles to massage the lower back and sacrum. Take a few rounds in each direction, changing it out. And then just allowing the knees to fall out wide to either side and rotating through the wrists, ankles, in both directions. We're going to have a little rock of the hips. It's like a bassinet rock, rocking a bassinet. And then as you're ready, you can begin to just gently draw the knees into the center. And extend the left leg out as you keep hugging that right leg in. Taking the left hand onto that right knee and extending that right arm out at the height of your shoulder along the floor. Take a deep inhale throughout the body, and as you exhale, draw that right knee over to the left. You might even want to lift off and lift onto your left hip. And allow that perhaps the right foot can just rest on the inner left thigh. Keep your right shoulder pinned to the ground. And just allow the head to find a comfortable place of being. You don't have to go to your fullest depth to start with. Just be in a place of comfort and work from there. Perhaps you like these little mini pulsations I offer. One more deep breath. And you can allow an exhalation to just gently bring you back into the center, placing that right foot down on the floor, pressing it into the floor to lift the hips off so you can realign yourself. And then draw that left knee in as you extend the right leg out. A little moment of hugging in. And then that right hand onto the left knee. That left hand lengthening out along the floor at the height of your shoulder. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, begin to draw that left knee over to the right. You might even want to lift up and place that right hip onto the floor, right side hip. And then just take your time. Allow that left foot perhaps just simply rest on the inner thigh of the right. And we don't have to go into depth, we just go into a place of comfort and see if we can surrender more fully and deeply into that place. And that may in itself bring us deeper without effort. Breathing. Exploring. One more breath. let that exhalation just slowly unwind you, bringing you back to the center. Place that left foot on the floor. Press it in, lift the hips, realign yourself. And then just hugging once again both those knees into the body. Maybe hooking your elbows around the knees. Breathing in. Tucking the knees now in under the arms, grabbing hold of your feet from the outer side. Or if that's impossible for you to do, you can just grab hold of the ankles. Otherwise, we can draw the hands into the feet, pull them down so it tucks the knees in under the arms more fully. And here we are in Happy Baby. See how well you can breathe into your belly, into your body. Some restriction here, it's okay. Creating space through your aware breath, the awareness of your breath being directed into certain areas. And then as you're ready, just extend, or try and tuck the knees in towards each other and extend the feet overhead. And you could even keep pulling the feet towards the floor over your head so it lifts your back off the floor and you're in a sort of like a really gentle shoulder stand with the legs just at your face, your feet hovering over the floor above you. And then you can just gently and carefully roll out of that compressed and compact posture. Placing the feet back on the floor. If you need anything to keep you a little warmer, then now would be the time to perhaps go for whatever you need. I'm going to do the smallest amount of breath work before we finish, that in Shavasana. And you might like to have the knees just remaining bent here for the breath work. See how you go. Maybe you don't want that, and that's also okay at this point. I think we're probably good to just simply allow the body to choose. But we're going to do the opposite to what we did at the beginning of class. So we're going to inhale, take a long, smooth, deep inhalation. And as we exhale, we're going to exhale, pause, exhale, pause, exhale, pause. And then one long, smooth inhale. Exhale, pause, exhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale. And repeat in your own time, your own rhythm. So after your next exhale, you could just release the breath. If the knees are still bent, you could straighten the legs. Make any last minute adjustments so your Shavasana can be super sweet, completely relaxing and open. So as the natural breath returns to its rhythm, just perhaps riding your awareness on the back of that. And letting each exhalation give you another opportunity to deepen into the experience. To let go of the resistance that holds us from being truly present. And begin to drop into your essential self. The mind will naturally distract. It's simply part of its nature. There's no need to be frustrated, disappointed, or concerned. Just notice when you catch yourself thinking. Be aware of what you're thinking. And just bring your attention gently back to your essential self or the breath. Bring your attention to your eyebrow center and just really release any tension that may subtly be sitting here. Allow any subtle frowning or creases or contraction there soothe out. And as you relax into that area, feel as though you find a little porthole, a little opening. Physically, we'd say into the brain, but energetically into Ajna, into an energy center, incredibly powerful, that is sat here, but ultimately is the pituitary gland. And just feel as though you have an open channel there, that you can breathe fresh prana through there, airing out this powerful intuitive center. When we feel connected to Ajna, into our intuition, we begin to become more fearless. There's this inherent knowing when to do things, when not to do things. And in that, even in moments of tension, we can simply relax in that knowing. So breathing just a few more rounds of breath in and out of Ajna, our eyebrow center. And then as you're ready, letting that go and coming back into the physicality of your body, feeling back into skin and flesh and bones that make up that physical you. Breathe fresh prana into that body, that food body, that gross body. And as you're ready, I'm going to just simply roll on to your right side or any comfortable uninjured side. Curl yourself up into a loose fetal position. Trying to have a sense of a blank mind, as if you're a newborn baby about to come into the world. And as you're ready, we then press into the floor with the opposite hand and gently pull ourselves out of there. Coming into a seated position. Bringing our hands into prayer, the heart center, or wherever. And we'll close with our prayer. Hopefully you can remember it, or you can just listen. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Palepalayantam Yayena Magena Mahim Maheshaha Go Brahma Mebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Together, Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everybody, for joining this morning or later on. Blessings to you and to your day and week. And I hope you're feeling good. Namaste.